Well, it fits. I got her snugged up. That Pitman arm is seized on there pretty good. I have to get... That's a used to be torque wrench. That's one I quit trusting a long time ago. It's just a big ratchet now. But I think she's actually going. Yep. I think she's coming off. So some really quick backstory on this truck is, and I may have mentioned it before, I don't even recall, I don't even watch my own videos. It was like summer of 1986, and I was looking for a truck, and I fell in love with the 79 to 1983 Toyota body style, and I found this one for a pretty good deal. Talked the dude down a little bit, and bought it. It was cherry. It had 28,000 and something original miles, bone stock, except for 31s and some nice alloy rims. And I took it out and played with it and beat it up and broke a lot of things on it and fixed it again. It's been through a few front axles, back when it was all Toyota stuff. It just turned 18. I'll be 56 here in a couple of weeks as the time of this recording. And sadly, as much fun as I've had with it and swapping it out for Chevy parts and engines, and this is the 4th small block it's had in it, it has sat in this barn for the last 25 years, 23 years. It sat in a different barn for a couple, 2 or 3 years out back of this for a while before, I didn't even look at it. It was just sitting there rotting away. But it's kind of, sentimental to me. So as silly as some of the videos you might see on this thing are, or as petty, I kind of have fun making videos. And I just kind of want to have something to look back on. And if anybody else watches this and enjoys it, that's cool. Maybe they'll learn something, maybe they won't. I know there's dozens, if not hundreds. I've seen plenty of channels out there dedicated to these early Toyotas, even in the 70s, a whole bunch of the square body in the late 80s, mid-late 80s, and a lot of these 79 to 83. So this ain't nothing new. It's just slightly new for me, I guess, even though I did Tinkerin this a few years ago and recorded it. But I just want to have something to look back on and see how much I can get done and record as I'm going. So if, with this thing sitting in the barn for 25 years, if there's anything anybody learns from my videos on this thing, it's don't give up. I don't have no budget on this thing. I'll be bartering and going as many used parts and refurbing things as possible. That's what I'm all about. Making old crap work. Peace. My first attempt at the end of my last video started twisting and bending that bolt. Well, the original bolt. So I took this all apart, made a new bolt out of another hardened U-bolt, welded that all together, and put a little bit of a tip on there. You can see I I opened this up intentionally so it would fit better. But even on the truck in that shop, I don't have any power in that particular barn where the Toyota's at. And it was getting really difficult trying to do it by hand with the mess I got going in there. So I ended up taking the box off, brought it out here to the shop. Got that apart. Well, there it is, all straight. This was the factory Pitman arm that had that S bend in it, and in order to line up that drag link, I needed it to be straight to do its business. I cut it into 3 pieces to use all the same material, and beveled all the edges down to about an 1/8 inch or so on center, so I could get a good root pass on both sides, and then started heating it up and filling it in. I'm going to clean those welds up. About 15 minutes with the flap wheel. We'll touch anything up that we need to. This is looking good. Voila. Now to clean up the gearbox. Gave it a good bath. Gotta clean up that frame a little bit. And I'll get that box remounted. Soak these bolts. Get all that grease and grime off. Hit that with some acetone in a minute. Throw a little paint on that area. Let it dry and get that box mounted up again. One of the things I'm going to try and do as I work on this, like on the frame or the shackles, or when I redo that front cross member with the spring hangers, is every little bit clean it up as I go and throw some paint on it. And eventually, I got a hoist out back. I'd like to pull the cab and then the bed, or vice versa, off and repaint, clean up and repaint the whole frame. We'll see how things go. The drag link is GM Dana 44 back here. And I threw this together many years ago just to be able to move the truck. This is the Toyota adjustable ball joint chinker. But it'll do for now just to move this thing around. Eventually, I'm going to swap out boxes. I'd like to do some over the spring crossover steering. We'll see. Got a lot more to do before I get to that. Right now I need to be able to move this thing around. Kind of hard to steer without a steering wheel. But I have something for that. Several years ago, I don't even recall what happened to the stock steering wheel. That's the center out of the factory steering wheel. It got bent one of the times I jumped it or something. I don't remember. I broke my wrist in that truck once. But I had this out of a dune buggy given to me. So I kind of started to put this together. I don't remember how I did it. Anyway, I'll have to clean it up, because that's what I'm going to use. It's been years since I tossed this together, but I must have welded up in here. Maybe a few holes, I don't know. But there was a hole here and here, so I'm going to take advantage of those and just nut this thing up for now. Eventually, it might be nice to clean this up and do like 6 symmetrical holes, little some stainless Allen caps or something. Later. later on. All right. Oh yeah, I'll have to deal with that down the road. Why does that feel like such a giant step? That's so silly. One little cleaned up painted section. Going back in. Get a wrench on there. Snug it up. You're probably wondering why I'm not using a cordless impact since I don't have power out here in this shop, or barn rather. They're all on the charger. Fuck, that hurt. Working to specs is critical. One of the easiest ways to find the center of the steering gearbox travel is to count the turns lock to lock before I put that Pitman arm on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 3/4. So we'll go back. We'll call that 4.5. 1, 2, and a little bit. I'll reposition the wheel. Now it should be pretty close to center of the gearbox travel. Got these stops, and they should be a shorter distance than the gearbox's internal overall travel. So as long as they're really close, we should be good. So I'll check with the steering wheel before I nut that up. We're getting really close. That is on and tight. Obviously need a little adjusting here. Check our steering wheel. A little crooked. Let's see. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4 or so. So center will be, let's get rid of the quarter for now. We'll go 1, 2. We get rid of the quarter, so we'll come back like part of it. So that should be pretty close. There we go. Let's get some adjustment on this. Closer. Hope I have enough. I might have to screw with that a little bit. I wonder how many threads are in there. That's getting out there. Oh yeah, I can see them. Still quite a bit. Bolt this together. Let's get this guy snugged up and adjusted. That might be a little tight. There we go, it's gonna move a little. I don't have any cotter keys that fit this correctly. So, I'm gonna kind of make some luck wire here. All right. Look at that. That works. Let's cut that off. Twist this up, I guess. This is hard to do with one hand and holding the camera. There we go. This is a lot of work for something that, although not immediate, eventually is going to be temporary. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to swap out for an IFS steering box out of a Toyota and do some crossover steering. But I had this and I had to do something so I could steer this thing when I finally get it out of this barn to work on it some more. So much to do. I don't know why, but I love working on this old thing. We have steering. Come on. That steering shaft's rubbing on the fender well inside. Not too shabby. Some decent angles, even though it's not the ultimate outcome. It'll do the job while I work on everything else and get this thing set up. That's about it for this one. Catch you later.